The op fruit is the most powerful fruit of them all. It is the ultimate devil fruit. No wonder I love Law so much. Not only is his character amazing, but even his powers are amazing. It used to be before that the op fruit was questionable. It's like, can I really use this power to its fullest extent? Is it really worth it? Would I really give away my ability to swim just for this power? And after this chapter, yeah, I would. I'd be just like, you're number one now. I don't care about anything else. I want this ability. This was a fantastic chapter, although a bit confusing at first. I mean, when it got to the Navy's soldiers, the translation, I don't know if it was right in this aspect, but he said we had to keep spreading chaos. Now, I don't know why the Navy would be saying stuff like that. Maybe there's something going on I missed. Maybe I forgot something about a previous chapter. Maybe they're under some kind of control, or I know they're going after pirates, but there are still civilians out there in the streets. So yeah, I mean, who knows? But anyway, the majority of this chapter takes up, Don Flamingo, beating on Luffy and at the same time talking to Law. And it's revealed that he wasn't the one who called CP0. He wasn't the one who really has the power, to control, the same thing that Celestial Dragon has the power to control. It's actually kind of the Gorosei, or the government itself, who are kind of like granting his requests. Like, I guess Don Flamingo is asking them, hey, can I have this? Can I have this? And the government says like, okay. And we finally find out why. It's because as a kid, Don Flamingo discovered about the national treasure that the government was hiding from the civilians, from all the people of the world. And because of this, he was chased by the government. So in a way, he's similar to Robin in that aspect. Now, maybe it has something to do with the Poneglyphs, with the Void Century, something that they don't want discovered. And Don Flamingo knows it. But, or maybe it's just a weapon, who knows? With the government, you never know what they would consider a national treasure. It could be a weapon, it could be information, who knows? But Don Flamingo knows about it. And with that knowledge, he was chased, by everyone as a kid. So yeah, it went back to like, he really did have a fucked up child. It wasn't just his mother dying, him for killing his dad. It was just mostly, he was angry at the government. He would do anything to get back at the government, and that's what led to the government considering him possibly the worst enemy they've ever had to encounter. So now Don Flamingo has information. They couldn't kill him, I guess, due to the fact that he has a crew. He has, he's the king of Dressrosa. He has power, his devil fruit ability. So they decided to make a deal with him. Like, hey, you don't tell people about the national treasure, we will, grant your request to a certain extent, I assume. Otherwise, I'm sure they would have just sent like every battleship they have to just destroy the entire island along with Don Flamingo. But I guess they wanted to hold off on doing that because they still think like, he's a celestial dragon, technically still, his lineage. We don't want to start like a whole war, and get it involved with the whole world. But either way, Don Flamingo is saying about the Fallen Dragon King, the power of the Fallen Dragon King. Like, who knows what he means by that? But he mentions he knew about the national treasure, but he had no way of using it, possibly because it's locked behind some kind of heavy security door or something. But Law's ability would allow him to actually use the national treasure. But then he also mentions the line, switching personalities. So maybe he is more of switch my personality with the body of one of the Gorosei, and so I can have the power to actually, access the national treasure. Or maybe just teleporting into the room with the national treasure inside. Who knows? And it's also has the ability to grant eternal life. The op fruit can grant eternal life. Now, when I heard that, I was just like, holy shit, that is amazing. Law, you are the Dragon Balls. You are Shenron. All of a sudden, Frieza and Vegeta and all the other people from Dragon Ball Z coming into this universe are like, grant me eternal life. Law's like no. I mean, because he's not gonna do that because to grant eternal life, he himself has to die. So that's a good limit there. It's like, I can't just grant eternal life to anyone I want, like, because I'll die. It's like, okay, because then the op will go to someone else, and it'll just be a repeated process. Then we get a flashback of Law's, 16 years ago when he was a kid, when he came to Don Flamingo and said, I'm gonna die, so I'm gonna take out as many people as I can. And he's mentioned that he's gonna die in 2 years and 3 months. And in that time, he wants to kill as many people. And he thought, I guess, the best way to do that is to join a pirate crew, since, they're merciless. We'll kill as many people as we can. And then this is where we finally meet Corazon. The first minute we see Corazon, he's clumsy. He's slipping on the floor. He's burning his mouth on hot tea. He's setting himself on fire. So he's immediately clumsy. But then we also see how he beats on Baby 5 and Buffalo. They're kids, and then even throws Law out a window, possibly, not knowing if he's going to kill him or not caring at all. And we learn that he's abusive to children because he hates children. Now, we also learn he can't speak due to the fact that he apparently suffered a tragic event as a kid. And we can assume it's Don Flamingo's fault, and maybe he saw his mother die, and that traumatized him, or saw Don Flamingo kill their dad, decapitate their father, and that traumatized him, or maybe Don Flamingo did something to his own brother, like maybe he cut out his vocal cords. I don't know, maybe because Don Flamingo thought maybe Don Flamingo is not the only one who knew about the National Treasure. Maybe his brother also knew it too, but Don Flamingo didn't want to share his power with anyone, not even his own brother. It's just like, I'm the only one who can actually speak about the National Treasure. I'm making your vocal cords out. Who knows? Don Flamingo's a fucked up guy. He could probably do that. But maybe Corazon's hatred for children comes from the fact that he saw, his trauma came from the fact Don Flamingo, his older brother, tortured him or did something, and he associates that with children because Don Flamingo and his brother were children when all this shit happened. So maybe he hates children for that reason. And when we finally see his picture, he's dressed very similar to Don Flamingo. The pants, the shoes, the feathered coat, except it's black maybe it's black feathers. That's what it looks like, or some kind of dark colored feathers. And then a black hood. And then a heart shirt. And then it looks like he has a painted face, like kind of a clown, going back to Joker, and the cards and everything. Maybe he was the original Joker, and Don Flamingo didn't even take on that name until much later. But also, look, he was wearing sunglasses. Now, I'm not saying he's blind. No, he'd have to be able to see where he was going. Maybe that's why he's clumsy. I have no idea. But now it goes back to me questioning. Wait a minute, so Law was supposed to die 2 years and 3 months after he joined the Don Flamingo family. And then it coincides with the whole 13-year grudge that Law has for Don Flamingo for killing Corazon. So now I'm wondering, was the op fruit originally Corazon's ability? Because then it could go back into granting eternal life. Now, it's saying Don Flamingo was the one who killed Corazon, but maybe it wasn't. As we know, most mentors to anyone in One Piece sacrifice themselves to save the kid. So maybe during those 2 years that they got to know each other, they started to care for him. Corazon started to care for Law. He's like, maybe you're not so bad. Maybe I'm wrong about this one, individual kid. It doesn't seem likely because this guy seems like a sociopath. But who knows? With One Piece, you never know. And he uses the op ability to grant Law eternal life. But then, if eternal life goes by the description of never aging, then Law shouldn't look as old as he does. So I'm wondering exactly how Corazon died. Maybe he didn't actually get killed by Don Flamingo, by his hand, but maybe he died trying to save Law from Doflamingo's fury or something like that. And Law just associates his death with, the fault with Doflamingo. You let your brother die. You should have saved him. And Doflamingo's gonna say, I don't care about my brother. Who knows? I mean, it's a complicated relationship all these pirates have with each other. And now we see, we finally meet the mentor of Law. We see Law's backstory and its tragedy. And now I'm just wondering, is Law the new member of the Straw Hats? Because he has his own crew. And I always felt like Law and Luffy seemed more like a rivalry that can grow into Whitebeard and Gold Roger status. Who knows? Maybe, like they said, Law's ability can be considered the ultimate devil fruit now. Because it can grant eternal life. And also, if Law knew about the national treasure, he'd be able to use it too. Switch his personality with one of the Gorosei or something like that. So in that way, his ability is like the next earthquake fruit. It can literally change the world or even destroy it. So that's why I always felt like Law was the next, Whitebeard, while Luffy was gonna be the next Gold Roger. But maybe with all these similarities that Law has with the Straw Hat Pirate crew members, and backstory-wise, and it just feels like, wow, it's like he could be a next member or part of the Alliance or something. Or the Alliance is permanent now. But really, I mean, I'm excited. I can't wait for the next couple chapters, but we're gonna have to wait because Ichiro Oda is on a break again. So hopefully we get more about Corazon and Law and his ability. I mean, yeah, Law's ability, the ultimate devil fruit. Now I really want that. I really want that ability. And I'm wondering if they're even going to reveal the national treasure in this arc. It just seems like if it's that big of a deal, or if we reveal it now, but how are we going to use it, if we even, can use it. But either way, I'm excited. I can't wait for the next couple chapters. So until then, I'm Tony Dragon. Bye-bye.